the last several months, and we're starting to see more of these attacks happening here. Um, yeah, so the latest update as of the last 20 minutes, this is actually 20 minutes ago, Israel-Hamas war is continuing to unfold, and it's spreading here. In fact, it's getting quite out of hand. In fact, there's multiple shipping routes that have actually been completely halted. All traffic has been halted, and we have received word that based on, if you guys were on the live last night, you know that I shared with you guys how the United States, President Biden had issued an attack, airstrikes on the Houthi sites in Yemen. Well, we have actually received word that the Houthis have the intent to retaliate. So we've received this word as of earlier today. Several different news sources have reported this. So that's where we're at. In addition to that, there were FBI arrests made in Florida. So apparently a Florida man was accused of threatening a mass casualty event. Now, details are still a little bit fuzzy on this one, but this kind of sounds almost in alignment with the warnings that we have received previously from the FBI, as if Florida needs anything else going on down there. I had shared with you guys in a previous video as well how Florida's dealing with this outbreak of listeria, and multiple foods were impacted by this. So I just want you guys to please be careful out there, especially in the state of Florida, states like New York, California, any big cities, Orlando, Miami, New York City, name your favorite big city, especially wherever there is a large population, large gathering, please be careful. Los Angeles, San Francisco. You guys know where I'm coming from, right? I don't think that we're all doomed, so that is good news. But we definitely need to watch our six and be careful. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the content, if you appreciate the updates and the research that goes into these videos, please drop a quick like for the video and also subscribe to the channel. It says here, a Florida man accused of posting online threats to carry out mass violence has been arrested and charged with making an interstate threat. And this is according to the federal court records. It looks like Alexander Leiterman of Venice, Florida. I'm not really sure where Venice, Florida is. Anyway, allegedly posted comments online that were intended to convey a message that he was planning to basically carry out some mission that appears to be quite negatively impactful, to say the least. Unfortunately, I can't say everything that's in this article. I don't want to basically kind of get the video taken down, but ultimately this appears to have been averted, thankfully. And based on what we're seeing here, it does look like this is kind of in alignment with what we were hearing, and from FBI Director Christopher Wray. Now, unfortunately, this is not the type of news that anyone wants to hear about, but this is unfortunately the world that we're living in right now. And this is why I just like to keep you guys informed. I think you do like being informed, and that's why I kind of hop on here and share the latest updates with you guys. In addition to that, we're seeing continued disregard and lack of support to President Biden from the Democrats, as President Biden last night, if you guys were on the live with me last night, the Democrats immediately slammed President Joe Biden for bypassing Congress altogether to issue the strike in Yemen. And I saw a number of comments from you guys, and you guys let me know what you stand on this. I know I've got Democrats watching me. I've got Republicans watching me. I don't side with either one. I just try to present the news as I see it here. But do you support President Biden's stance on this more aggressive approach to addressing the attacks that have been taking place, namely in the Red Sea with regard to Houthis, Iran, Israel, Hamas? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Was this a good move from President Biden? A lot of people have said that President Joe Biden hasn't been as basically forceful with overseas international conflicts, geopolitical politics, and so forth. So many people are looking at this move from President Joe Biden as a more of a show of backbone from the Biden administration. Now, of course, China looms in the balance. We have heard numerous warnings, even on U.S. soil. The president of China has come here and literally said it on U.S. soil to President Biden that they intend to take over Taiwan. Now, we have already been warned. We have the rhetoric is out there that if China takes over Taiwan, the United States will, in fact, absolutely step in and not allow this to take place. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen if China goes and takes over Taiwan? And more importantly, what do you think is going to happen if China takes over Taiwan while the United States is involved with potentially initiating a brand new war within the Middle East, and potentially involving Iran and several other countries within the Middle East? In addition to that, we're already sending out so much capital, so much munitions, ammunitions, weapons, support, troops, equipment, tanks, aircrafts, to the region of Israel, to the region of the Ukraine, in the ongoing proxy war effort against Russia. What do you think is going to happen as we're stretched so thin in the event that China decides to take over Taiwan? I mean, it's kind of like, imagine if you've ever played chess or checkers. It's almost kind of like moving all of your back pieces to the front of the board, and now you have no protection, you have no support on the back end. And that's essentially what we could theoretically be putting ourselves into a situation of, if the United States continues to press on and put so many of our pieces out toward fighting all of these different wars. It's basic math. There's only so much that the United States can do, and it kind of puts an additional target on our backs. Now, some of you guys might say, "Hey, chess and checkers is a little bit too complicated for me. I don't get it. I only play Uno." But it is what it is. But this is the situation that we're in here, guys. And if any of you guys happen to live in the state of Florida, definitely let me know what you guys are seeing and hearing. But please be careful out here, guys. It says here, according to the affidavit, this is going to the gentleman in Florida who was arrested on these charges of being accused of mass casualty event. Now, here's the thing, guys. I hate to pin blame on anyone who's been accused, because when we hear accused, we automatically assume that they're guilty just because of the phrasing. But, so I'm just going to try to look at it from face value as best I can. I'm trying not to pass judgment here. But according to the affidavit, high scorers shall be defeated, and 2024 there shall be saints, among other things, according to the FBI investigator. So now you may or may not be familiar with what a saint and a high score is, but these are references that I'm not going to explain here on this video. I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and drop a link for this article on my Twitter. So if you guys are following my Twitter, there's a link for my Twitter in the description of this video. If you want to see this article and get further details on it, I will make it available for you guys down there. I'm not going to be able to share it, all of those details here in this particular video here, just because we already know what's going to happen, and we don't want to get the video taken down. But ultimately, that's where we're at right now, guys. So let me go ahead and put this on my Twitter for you, for those of you who want to check it out right now, so you can find out exactly what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Boom. It's on there. Okay, cool. So for those of you guys who want to check that out, it's available to you. But this is getting wild, guys. Now, here's the thing. Tankers are literally getting shut down. In fact, these tankers, they have halted traffic toward the Red Sea after the U.S. airstrikes on the Houthi militants. Now, of course, this is going to pose a significant financial impact on all businesses, really all businesses, because the United States doesn't make that much stuff here. Our manufacturing really weak. Most of our products, most of the products that the United States sells in retail stores, Walmart, Target, Costco, Aldi, Home Depot, Lowe's, you name it, these are imported goods for the most part. Now, even if the goods themselves are not necessarily imported, most of the parts needed to make the items that we're buying every single day, they're imported. Did you guys know how much red meat was actually imported from overseas? Like, most people don't even realize how much food we import from overseas. Anyway, it's wild. Simple fact of the matter is this. There are three major tanker companies that have literally temporarily halted traffic toward the Red Sea after the U.S. airstrikes on the Houthi militants. Now, the question is, how long is this halt going to take place? How much oil is not going to be able to pass through here? And I would venture to guess, if you guys go outside today, tonight, or first thing in the morning, take a picture of the gas prices. Then look at those gas prices in a couple of days, in a week, in 2 weeks. I would expect a surge in gas prices depending upon how long these tankers can't flow through the Red Sea. A lot of oil is not going to be able to get through. What happens with supply and demand because remember, yeah, we can produce oil here in the United States, but you already know the deal on that one. How little oil we're producing here, and the oil that we do produce, we tend to sell it overseas. So go figure. You guys let me know if President Biden should step in and maybe if they're going to have this temporary halt on oil coming into the United States. Can you imagine $6, $7, $8, $9 gallons of gas overnight? Theoretically, I mean, I'm not saying that it is, but I'm not saying it can't happen either. I mean, we've seen this 2 summers ago. We saw $7 a gallon in gas, different parts of the country. A large part of the country saw either $4 or $5 per gallon. I don't know what you guys are paying for gas right now, but I could, it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that much effort for me to recall what gas prices were just a short period ago. Hafnia, Torm, and Stena Bulk confirmed that they have halted traffic toward the Red Sea after airstrikes on Houthi militants in Yemen. These companies are among the world's largest operators of petroleum product tankers, and the multinational coalition advised ships to avoid transiting the Bab el Mandeb Strait for several days. And this is according to the International Association of Independent Tankers. So, and here's the thing, guys. Just the simple, even if inventory and supplies are not affected yet, just the mere word that oil supplies will likely be impacted, gas stations, truckers, especially the truckers. Think about how many truckers are on the road. These guys, when they're carrying their loads, these different semi trucks on the road, first of all, a lot of these truckers, these drivers for these trucking companies, they're hurting. Your owner operators, their rates for their loads are down dramatically. And the rates for these loads, they're barely covering a lot of these truckers' expenses. And I don't know how many of you guys might be truckers or know a trucker, but the simple fact of the matter is this. I could literally see, truckers hauling these huge loads and not necessarily following all of the rules in terms of the weight limits that they're supposed to be carrying, just because they're trying to get a little bit more on that truck because their rates aren't making up for their overhead and their expenses. And if diesel fuel and unleaded fuel, but specifically diesel fuel, because anything you got in the truck, anything you have in any of your stores, Walmart, Costco, food, essentials, non-essentials, whatever the case is, you want to talk about inflation. If we see these gas prices, specifically diesel prices, if we see diesel prices spike, which I'm anticipating that they will increase to some extent. Now, how bad does it get? That part I don't know yet. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on it. But if we see those prices spike, any kind of progress that we've seen in terms of inflation coming down, CPI reports indicating that inflation has dropped to around 3%, getting closer and closer toward Fed Chair Jerome Powell's targets, you can bet your bottom dollar that all of that progress will be entirely wiped out if we see diesel prices spike. for any reason, but in particular, it certainly looks like the reason why diesel prices could spike is because of these tanker companies being halted from passing through the Red Sea. And if these tankers can't go through the Red Sea, either A, they're going to be sitting in the water, not moving at all, or B, they're going to have to take a tremendously longer route, which will make it take a lot longer for oil to get to where it's going, and the cost of delivery is going to be drastically higher. In any case, we lose. Now, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just basic economics here. So basically, Hafnia, Torm, and Stena Bulk shipping companies have confirmed that they've halted traffic toward the crucial trade gateway in response to an advisory coming from the Combined Maritime Forces, which is a multinational coalition led by the United States. Now, here's the other thing. Anything you buy on Amazon, most, if not, I'm not going to say all products, but I'm willing to say that a vast majority of products bought and sold on Amazon are coming from overseas. If you're buying any kind of product in America, in the United States, if you're buying any kind of product in America, I guarantee you can anticipate that these prices will be dramatically higher. So if you have those alerts on Amazon that kind of like alerts you when prices change, don't be surprised to see your Amazon app start chirping constantly, because all of these expenses are going to affect Amazon sellers. And those Amazon seller business owners, they're not going to just eat those extra costs. Those profit margins will be preserved to the best of their ability. And the way they're going to do that is by increasing the costs and increasing the prices. We see it all the time. This is part of why our prices have been so expensive. The companies that I'm talking about here, some of these shipping companies, they're among some of the world's largest operators of tankers for petroleum products, such as gasoline, at least according to their websites. And so the situation is definitely dynamic. These ships should consider holding outside of the area while a period of tanking stock of the situation is undertaken. So this is the advisory that they're providing. West Texas intermediate futures spiked more than 4% to $75.25. Meanwhile, Brent crude touched $80.75 earlier in today's trading session. As you guys know, oil is traded on the exchanges. And ultimately, it looks like some of these traders are clearly anticipating that oil will head north. Will we see $100 per barrel for oil? That remains to be seen, but it's definitely a possibility. It goes on to say here that the Houthis vow to respond. Not a good sign, guys. We talked about this yesterday. I talked about how I wasn't really sure how the Houthis and Iran were going to respond to the United States intervention, rather aggressive Air Force intervention, which took place just last night. And it looks like here, U.S. and British warplanes launched strikes against the Houthis, who are allied with Iran, after the militants repeatedly attacked commercial vessels in the Red Sea in defiance of the coalition warnings. There were numerous warnings. There were lots of warnings. And I feel like, again, I don't know if you guys support President Joe Biden's move last night to issue a airstrike without congressional approval. You guys let me know what you think on that one in the comments. But it's like, if you keep sending out these warnings, you don't ever do anything, then you end up being, like no one's going to respect you. So I feel like it was kind of only a matter of time, or else the United States could be even in a weaker position. If you keep making threats and you don't carry out on threats, ain't nobody gonna listen to you. So, it is what it is. But this is exactly what we're seeing, guys. And for those of you guys who are just tuning in, there was a threat that took place affecting residents of Florida. But theoretically, it's likely to span well beyond Florida. And these threats and warnings that we've been hearing from the FBI affect multiple different states. I've shared countless capitals and buildings where congressmen and women work, politicians, which have been evacuated from I want to say 22 or 23, maybe even 24 different states, the last I checked, who had received these different email threats. And politicians had to be evacuated from Capitol buildings. And a very similar situation took place here in Florida, where it looks like the FBI arrested a Florida man for basically sending out these warnings of a potentially large event that was allegedly planning to happen. Now, again, I put it on my Twitter if you guys want to check that out. There's a link for my Twitter in the description of this video. Again, kind of can't share 100% of what is being discussed here, but they're using some code words, and you guys are smart enough to understand what they're saying here if you read in between the lines. So I'll make that available for you. But what do you guys think? What do you think the next step should be in terms of the United States response for these attacks? And we do have a border crisis situation going on, and the sheer volume of people coming into the country at the southern border is making a lot of people feel a little bit uncomfortable. And people are saying that if we don't address that, how can we protect American citizens? So I just want to ask you guys, do you guys feel safe? What are you doing to protect your family? I know what we're doing, but I want to know what you guys are doing to protect yourselves, protect your family. Or do we need to do nothing? Maybe we don't need to do anything at all. Maybe we could just chill here and just know that, the Biden administration has us covered, and there's nothing to worry about whatsoever. So let me know what you guys think. Do we just rest on our laurels? Do we trust in the government to take care of us? Some people say, hey, I don't know if I want all these different people wandering around my southern regions. Now, the choice is yours. Everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's got their own perspective, and I respect all of them. By the way, we have well over 500 people. If you guys could quickly just tap the like button, that means the world to me. I really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you guys a part of the community here. But for those of you guys who are just tuning in, Israel Hamas war situation has escalated. Hamas has vowed to ultimately retaliate. This is the news that we're receiving. There was a Florida man who was arrested for releasing threats that would clearly have affected numerous people. So, I don't know what would have happened, and I'm not even curious to know what would have happened. I'm just glad that nothing did. So that is what we have covered here. If you guys haven't already, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my previous videos, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Be safe and take care.